Between love and madness lies obsession.
Supermodel Kate Moss makes her money posing for cameras and commercials, like this one for perfume. But images believed captured on a cell phone and published by Britain's Daily Mirror got her the nickname Cocaine Kate, and a controversy that cost her contracts. A rival tabloid, the Daily Mail, suggested that the Mirror paid up to £150,000 for the pictures. Moss herself later publicly apologized for what she called her various personal issues.
Welcome back. Small cameras, big business. And a lot of the people making money taking pictures are not the ones we traditionally call professionals. There's even an agency devoted to getting their pictures into print. Joining us now is the founder and CEO of Scoopt, Kyle McRae. Thanks so much for being with us. Tell us about your business.
Thanks, and good to be here. We started Scoopt.com back in July 2005. It was based on a very simple principle that the mainstream media was keen, had an increasing demand to use amateur content. In many cases, it's all they had. The idea originally came on the back of the Asian tsunami, 2004, December 2004, when it was clear to me that everything I was watching on CNN and reading in the papers was taken by amateurs, largely tourists, just caught up in the midst of this horrific event. So how was this stuff getting onto CNN? Well, it was the old-fashioned model of airdropping journalists in, paying people $50, taking away the camcorder footage and broadcasting it. And we realised there that there was an opportunity to connect the dots, to connect the public who are on the scene of breaking news all the time, to use the technology, particularly the camera phone and broadband mobile networks, and to filter this content and feed it into the mainstream media.
And that's what you're doing. Let's go to some of the photos that you've actually I guess, parlayed into the press. The first one we have is an extraordinary image of a plane crash. Tell us about this.
Yeah, that was in Manhattan not so very long ago. We got a phone call at about 8:30 p.m. UK time from a chap who was working in his office in Manhattan and said, there's just been a plane crash outside my window. Have you heard about it? Now, by pure chance, I was looking at the BBC News website and there was a breaking news story about a plane crash in New York. So, of course, you drop everything. He said he had some great pictures. He sent them straight through to us. Now, within 2 minutes, we had these out to the press, to the media in the UK. And within about 10 minutes, we'd secured 2 front-page sales.
And in fact, we're looking at them now. Let me just let people know, this isn't just a commercial transaction. 2 people actually died in this crash, and several people were wounded. But it was a commercial transaction. How much was that picture worth?
Well, all in all, we sold a picture, I think, 4 times, and it was worth several $100s to the photographer. Not thousands. As a news story that has a short shelf life, limited time span, it's in the hundreds of dollars.
Okay, let's go on to the next picture. I believe this is a policeman in London making what you could call a very vigorous arrest. Can you tell us about this?
Yes. Indeed, this was a Scoopt member who was sitting at home, heard a hell of a kerfuffle outside his house, looked out the window and saw the police chasing down a driver, forcing him to crash against a wall, smashed the car windows, dragged the driver out, stunned him with a taser gun, and then pointed automatic rifles at him. So our guy on the scene pulled out his camera and photographed the whole event. Now, at the time, he wasn't thinking, I'm going to make a lot of money out of this. He was acting as a witness. He just saw something that was, of interest. And also this was shortly after the poor Brazilian chap was shot dead by the police in London. And he, in the back of his mind, was thinking, are the police going to overreact here? Are they going to do it again? If they are, I'm going to hold them to account. I'm going to be the witness. Now, nothing went wrong. It was a perfectly valid arrest. Afterwards, about an hour later, he thought, hang on, maybe these pictures actually do have some value. Sent them to us, we sold them to the London Evening Standard.
Okay, let's go on to the next picture, and this is a slightly different kind of thing, because this wasn't a fundamentally important or newsworthy event. Lives were not at stake. This was a footballer smoking a cigarette. I think everyone will recognize who we're talking about here. What was the value in this picture?
Yes. The financial value?
Yeah, well, the financial value and the news value. Zinedine Zidane having a cigarette.
Oh, okay, well, the financial value was in the thousands of dollars. Again, commercial sensitive, I can't tell you the exact figure, but it was in the thousands, and that picture sold very widely. 5 UK papers used it, and it sold internationally as well. The news story, frankly, is relatively spurious. When we first saw the picture, we thought, this is just a paparazzi shot. Footballer having a cigarette, very interesting. What made the story for us is that Zinedine Zidane had actually spearheaded an anti-smoking campaign in 2002, the previous World Cup. So that gave us the news story. And I'm not saying it's a front-page breaking news story at all.
No, but you did touch on something that is
angle.
interesting and important here. Is this going to turn all of us into paparazzi? Is this going to turn anybody with a cell phone into some member of a lurking horde of people chasing celebrities on the off chance they might be able to get a shot just the way professional paparazzi have been doing for years?
Well, I was first asked that question in July 2005, and 18 months on, we simply haven't seen it. We do get and we handle celebrity content, but we simply haven't had the kind of invasive, camera phone in your face at every opportunity content. That hasn't come through. Maybe it will, as this phenomenon expands. And part of our role as a gatekeeper here is to filter it and to editorialize and to help educate people, what's ethically okay, what's legally okay, public place, private property, what the differences are. And this is one of the reasons why we don't just publish content on our website or anywhere else. We filter it, editorialize it, and then if we're happy dealing with it, we push it out to the mainstream media.
I've got to ask you one last question. We began all this because of the extraordinary cell phone video of Saddam Hussein's death. A man died. A historical event happened, but there could have been a commercial transaction as well. How much would that video have been worth, do you think?
Well, that video, I was asked yesterday, could and would we have handled that had we been approached with it? And actually, it's a tricky one. The bottom line is probably yes. The value of that, if handled properly and commercially, would clearly have been in the hundreds of thousands, possibly millions. There are all sorts of issues over this. The fascinating thing for me, looking at citizen journalism in the wider sense, is that for a couple of days we were fed a fairly sanitized version, the official version of what happened at this execution. And the Iraqi authorities put out their own video without sound. It all looked fairly, civilized as these things can be. And then they had the rug pulled out from under them. And this mobile video is, I believe, an important part of the historical record. And frankly, the Iraqi authorities got it wrong. They've been found out. The execution was a shambles, and that's now a matter of public record.
Kyle McRae of Scoopt.com. Thanks so much for talking with us.